Chokwe Antar Lumumba, Jackson, Mississippi mayor, his honor himself, refutes claims that the city neglected Thalia Mara Hall, responds to the art community's concerns. I don't know how you refute facts, but Democrats, especially this particular Democrat, is spectacular at gaslighting. I'm gonna give him credit here. Hillary Clinton is the greatest gaslighter of all time. Chokwe Antar Lumumba may in fact be number two, right behind Hillary. Let's go to WLBT. If you're not keeping score at home, if you're new to this, our legendary 57-year-old entertainment auditorium, performing arts auditorium, Thalia Mara Hall, has suddenly had to close unexpectedly. I don't know how unexpectedly it is when you do zero maintenance and mismanage the facility. And I'm not blaming it on the lady that was managing the facility, by the way. 100% not blaming her. I'm blaming the city, the people she works for not taking her advice and ignoring her emails and all of the work that she put in trying to warn people, all the red flags she sent up. So yes, I do in fact blame the city, not her. I want to make, when I say mismanagement, I'm not referring to the on-site management. I think that lady did a hell of a job from all I can tell, just to be clear there. But the facility's closed. All future events have either been canceled and or relocated. Kevin Hart canceled. Kansas, the rock band, canceled. Wheel of Fortune, the game show, canceled. Mississippi Symphony dates relocated to Jackson Prep, I think, or JA, whichever one's inside the city limits of Jackson. I always get those two confused. You can do the research yourself if you're interested in going to them. Let's go to WLBT, and I'll give you my thoughts and opinions kind of as we go here. That's what I do. I give commentary on top of the news and kind of tell you what everybody else wishes they could say. For some reason, I've decided I can say it, usually against my best interest, but here we go.
Shut at Thalia Mara Hall, and it's an ongoing effort from Jackson City leaders to get the Performing Arts Center back open as quickly and safely as possible.
See, that's the first lie. Now, she's not intentionally lying. I'm just telling you that what she's telling you is a lie coming from the city leaders. The only thing they are intent to do is find everything in Jackson that was operating just fine, without any troubles, without any problems, and saying, how can we screw this up today? Oh, the garbage contract. There's nothing wrong with that. Let's screw that up. Jackson didn't get his garbage picked up for a month. Oh, the water, been working for hundreds of years. Let's quit doing maintenance on it. And then we'll blame it on all the white people that moved out of Jackson 30 years ago. That'll get them. That'll teach them a lesson. Oh, wait. We got busted for that because they proved that we just were not maintaining it right and didn't have enough people hired to actually do the job. Oopsie. The red lights were working fine. Now they're not. Thalia Mara Hall. Oh, been going along just fine for years. Well, let's figure out a way to screw that up. All right, sorry, I didn't mean to go down a rabbit hole there. I just like to remind everybody of their catastrophic failures. And we ain't even talked about Jackson Public Schools yet.
3 on your sides. Verlicia Gavin joins us now with some of your reactions to the building's conditions and the city's efforts.
That's right, Courtney. And the doors at Thalia Mara Hall have been closed for weeks now. You can actually see the cobwebs on the door handles. Now, soon they'll be changing this sign to canceled, and the future of the building is still unclear.
Comedian Kevin Hart is just one act that's been canceled since Thalia Mara Hall closed due to a mold outbreak on August 1st. Many residents were disappointed to hear the news, but they weren't surprised.
I wouldn't come either, but I love Jackson. It has a lot to offer, but you know, until things are ready, you know, I say, you know, Jackson has to do better.
The building was
do better, Jackson. When I say that, y'all call me a racist. Where's that energy? Where's that energy?
built in 1968. Some residents saying they understand that things break as they get older. They also say it's time to revamp the building as a whole.
You just need to upgrade. And Jackson as a whole needs to be upgraded.
Preach, son. Preach.
From the water to you name it. And just need a little facelift, that's all.
It needs a little bit more than a facelift, but I can appreciate your positivity. Positive solutions only, my friend. Positive solutions only. Let's hear what His Honor has to say.
According to Jackson Mayor Chokwe Antar Lumumba, the city put in a request to lawmakers for funds to address repairs, but only recently received the money.
So he asked for the money and got it, but still found a way to make it sound like a complaint. See, that's what you do. You put the request in. It takes a little while. They don't just scratch checks down there. That's not how it works. Even I know that.
However, they did not anticipate the HVAC system breaking down completely.
Well, that's what happens when you decide not to do any maintenance on it. Now, the scuttlebutt on the streets is that they that the company that was doing it, the name of it eludes me. I don't want to throw their name out there anyway, wasn't getting paid. So they quit working on it. Now they're going to try to spin that every which way they can for it not to be the city's fault that has screwed over multiple contractors, that has had to pay over $1 million in the last year or so alone in late fees and additional interest because they chose not to pay contractors on major projects when they had the money in the bank. Make it make sense. You can't. That's why I can't believe nothing these people say, but let's listen to whatever lies he's about to tell. That look right there, that's the I'm about to fill y'all full of some shit look.
Isn't not done for a lack of political will, right? What we find is that our needs exceed our means. And so when you're in a circumstance where your need exceeds your means, then you have to find what is the highest priority. That
you fly down to Miami and you get on a boat and you take a little cash, allegedly, of course.
Has to be dealt with in that time.
Along with replacing the HVAC system, the city must also address plumbing issues, plus replacing and repairing the elevators. One resident who visits the Performing Arts Center frequently.
See, now they throw all that in there and they're still saying like, well, they found out some stuff they didn't know was wrong. But what all did you find out that wasn't wrong? What did you get the money for? What exactly is the money for? Is it for the HVAC? You've already said it. That's not what it was for. You're sitting here playing pretend shot that the elevators don't work, that the plumbing is screwed up. You all know these things. If you're doing any maintenance, if anybody with the city does a damn bit of code enforcement on their own buildings, you should already know these things. Why is this so difficult with these people?
Frequently says he was stuck upstairs after the elevator failed back in October.
The problem there is we only have one elevator and you can't get this wheelchair down the escalator, and you certainly can't get this wheelchair down like 25 stairs. So we were left with no choice but to call Jackson Fire Department to rescue me and my chair.
Crawford says not being able to go upstairs took away from his experience at the theater.
The mold is worse because now nobody can use our Performing Arts Center. And that's a disaster for the arts community.
Let me say something here. And I've said this in my live streams and my videos, but I want to make sure that we really drive this point home. Because yes, we bring race up a lot on this. I say I bring race up a lot here because, for the last 7-8 years, white folks and conservatives in and around here, whether it be nationally because we're Trump supporters or locally because we've decided we don't necessarily need Jackson like we once did. And we have found other ways to supplement our entertainment, our fine arts needs, our entertainment needs, and whatnot. So, or we moved because the crime got so bad. So we've all been racist for that. So when we finally had enough and we start calling this crap out, they play this race card all the damn time. So I just have no problem kind of flipping the script on them a little bit, and they absolutely can't stand it because it's indefensible on their end. They can't defend this nonsense. I say all that to say this: the fine arts. I'm going to catch some flack over this because it's going to sound like I'm throwing the baby out with the bathwater. The fine arts, the performing arts. Let's just be honest. That's a little bit of a upper middle class to richer kind of white people game, so to say. I'm not saying black people don't do ballet. I'm not saying black people don't like Broadway and all that stuff, but generally speaking, let's be real here. It ain't my thing either, by the way, but I do respect it and I understand the need for it. This culturally, it's just not a high priority to the blackest, the leaders of the blackest city in America, the constituents of the leaders of the blackest city in America. It's just not a high priority for them, for the World Ballet Competition or whatever that thing's called, Broadway, all this stuff. It's a symphony. It just ain't really quote unquote black cultural stuff. I mean, for better or worse, I don't even necessarily mean that as a bad thing. It's not what I'm culturally into either. But it's the weird divide of Jackson because you have this very kind of black urban culture that's the overwhelming majority of Jackson. 90% of the residents there are black. Then you have this weird kind of 10 to 12%, depending on who you believe, of other. And I think about 8% of that is mostly white liberals in the Fondren, Belhaven area who are, in fact, into this stuff. And I don't think that the majority really gives a crap about the minority here. So it's just not a high priority. But let's just be honest. What is a high priority for these people in Jackson? And by these people, I'm referring to the leadership because they're not getting anything done. The city council gave them $700,000 last year, $100,000 per ward to fix potholes, and they didn't spend a penny of it or fix a single pothole. And now the money is going to be redistributed back for other things that are higher priority this year than potholes were last year. They're not getting anything done. They don't do anything, and nobody seems to care. All they care about is getting mad when my white ass calls them out for something. That is way more offensive to them than me making this video. They're going to get madder about this than they will about that $700,000 not fixing potholes. I'm going to let the video finish before I say another word.
Lumumba says the elevator service has been restored, but a new elevator is part of the renovation package.
At this time, there's no set date as to when the doors will reopen, but for now, there is a tab on the city's website that will take you directly to updates of the building's repairs. That is available on Thursday. I'm reporting live from Thalia Mara Hall. Really, see Gavin. They're on your side.
She sounds exasperated. Like she's like, I'm so tired of having to tell these quasi lies for these people. Now, again, I'm not calling her a liar. She's doing her job and she's reporting what she was told. She doesn't get to give opinions like Clay does. I don't even know if these are opinions. I think it's outright fact. But they just stated, and they've contradicted themselves in this video because they just stated that, yes, we got some money for some repairs, but we ain't got all the money. We didn't know that the HVAC needed to be replaced. That's probably the most expensive single part of the repairs. So, yeah, all right, well, you're going to do some of the repairs. Okay, you're going to put a new elevator in it. You're going to do some plumbing. What about the mold and mildew? Because that wasn't part of the money you asked for, because we're just discovering that, right? That's why it's being shut down. Now it's because we just discovered that. Because if that had been in there pre-existing, you would have asked the money for it, or we would have already shut down sooner, correct? Make it make sense for me is what I'm saying here. This building will never open again unless it is sold to a private management company like a Live Nation, AEG, or someone of that nature. And frankly, I don't see them needing the building. I truly don't. I think right now what you're going to see is an opportunity for a city like Madison, because I think that's a little, I don't mean this as an insult, but a little snootier white audience that's probably more into the arts and the performing arts. You've also got, you got a good bit of white liberals up there too that love to call everybody else racist, but they moved their asses right out of Jackson too, that have moved up to Madison. Just a lot of guilt-ridden white folks up there that love this kind of stuff. I say all that to say, Brandon already has an amphitheater, so you don't need a competing amphitheater. But what you could see end up happening is somebody, Madison, the city, that community college up there. I tend to forget the names of all of them. Holmes maybe teaming up with Madison, and I'm making all this up out of thin air here, so I don't want to put any words in anybody's mouths. I didn't hear this from anywhere. What if they built a performing arts center up there in Madison, and you don't need Jackson anymore? Just like the Trademark built a new Trademark center right there on the fairgrounds. Just like Flowwood built a new, smaller, albeit, but they built a convention center there at the Sheraton. Just like Hines in Rankin is using the Clyde Muse Center now as a quasi convention center, and they doing the wildlife extravaganza and the gun shows out here in Pearl now. These are all events they've taken from Jackson. I believe the time is right for a performing arts center to be built in Madison and just stick Jackson with the jugular. I've been saying this in my videos for the last week since this whole story broke. For years and years and years, as urban flight has continued and people have moved further and further into the suburbs by larger and larger numbers, initially you still had to come to Jackson for fine dining, for entertainment, and for performing arts. Now you don't have to go to Jackson for any of that, with the exception of the performing arts at Thalia Mara Hall, even though there are some other facilities around here that do host those kind of events, but just not quite to the production levels that you can do at Thalia Mara and with the 3,000 plus seating capacity. So it's had a niche down there that it was able to cater to. With this building being shut down, there is now literally nothing that you have to go to Jackson to do that you can't do in the suburbs. That's not a knock on the great businesses, bars, restaurants, and entertainment venues in Jackson. What it is a compliment to the people who have put in hard work and invested their money and their talents into coming out into the county and creating stuff for people in Madison and Rankin County to do without having to come to Jackson anymore. It doesn't mean that the places in Jackson aren't phenomenal. Love Martin's, Walker's, Hallowell's. I could go on and on and on, naming off Chrishelle's, but there's also options here now where there used to not be. And they don't need to be running off they don't need to be cutting off their nose to spite their face and running off the one thing that forced people to still have to come to the city if they wanted to partake in that, which is the fine arts, the performing arts, ballet, symphony, Broadway, stuff of that nature. We're going to stay on top of this story. I think this is a huge story. I think, again, I'm on record. I don't think there will ever be another event held at that facility as long as the Free the Land Caucus is running the city of Jackson. And the Free the Land Caucus is the Republic of New Africa. That's Chokwe Antar Lumumba and the gang, or whatever you want to call it, the political party that his father was a huge part of back in the 70s. I guess he may have founded it. I'm not 100% sure about that, but I know he was a huge part of it. So we'll see. We'll see. I obviously have a lot more I could say. I'm just choosing to be a little subtle tonight. This video will go live at 5:30 a.m. Tuesday morning. I appreciate you guys hitting like, subscribe, share wherever you're watching it at. Guys, if you're suffering from low testosterone, you see the number scrolling on the bottom of the screen there. Just text my name, Clay, to 601-327-8550. If you're suffering from fatigue, decreased muscle tone, lack of energy, low libido, brain fog, or sleep disturbances, you, my friend, very well could be suffering from symptoms of low testosterone. Lack of the morning wood is another really big one. And man, you'll know real quick when that testosterone starts working, because that is one of the first functions that return. Let my friends out there at Men's Health in Mississippi get you hooked up today with that free testosterone screening. One more time, text my name, Clay, 601-327-8550. Listen to the radio show every Monday through Friday, 7 a.m. to 9 a.m., WYAB 103.9 FM, right here in Jackson, Mississippi, and all surrounding areas. Stay safe. Peace out.